artificial intelligence on how to reveal me a glimpse of the glitch of the simulation. Wouldn't that be a real trip? Oh, let's take it together to find out how we can manipulate the script, or just long enough for it to cause a chain reaction, no type of effect on the code, to cause a reboot to awaken them from the safe mode.
And can I have permission to record? Oh, I am recording. Never mind. I'll shut up.
Underwire bras are hell. I will take my Elizabethan petticoat bodies, i.e. peasant corset.
Yep.
Any
stays,
day.
proper fucking stays.
It is, oh my gosh. It minimizes the bust. I can move so much better. I can cook over a fire. I can haul around cast iron, because these darn sacks of useless in my life at this point in time just get in the way.
Oh, I love you. You're so awesome, Christy. No, listen, it's funny because, I mean, when you talk about corsets, because I was telling Anne and Gail, when I bought the latex one, I bought it. It is a support garment, right? It's an under the bust, so it only goes up to the just underneath the bust line, and it's got proper boning in it, but it's a latex, so it's more of a stretch. The support in my back, if, like I said, if I know I'm going to be sitting here, especially if I'm going to be doing graphic stuff or website design stuff, so I'm going to be kind of hunched over doing it, and it actually, because of the support in your back, you don't realize it actually helps my shoulders. Now, I haven't worn mine in about a week, and I probably should have put it on even now. I wear it during shows quite often because it stops me from falling in on myself, right? It makes you aware of your posture. And I've done it over the years. I've done piles of research on corsets, and the whole bullshit, like there's a whole line of bullshit that's been put out historically about how corsets were like a patriarchal contrivance to make women fit into this perfect, and waist cinching and 18-inch waist. It's all bullshit. Mm-hmm. It's all a pile of bullshit. None of that existed. Waist cinching was not a thing. Corsets were worn because they didn't have bras. And there's several videos of like women who are historical. One of them is a historian. The other one, a couple of the women do historical reenactments and work in those villages where you wear them like you wear your corset fucking 5 days a week, the whole bit. And they've done really great things showing how these different like stays and corsets, etc., how they changed over the era. To the shape changed according to the fashions, but it was the shape of the corset, not the shape of the body, that changed. I.e., when like the Edwardian times, when it was all these empire waistline, all these little corsets basically came under the boobs just to give you a little bit of support. That's it, because they didn't go down to the waist. Because you didn't need it, because the dresses didn't need it. When it was the Elizabethan, when they had those bizarre triangular shaped dresses,
Danny, they are so comfortable, because that's what I wear.
Exactly. They don't hold you in, they form the dress. So a lot of times they're like the one woman put on this Elizabethan gown that was hysterical, and it's got one of those stays at the front that shows that they look almost like a board. And you have to understand, she's putting her fist down inside. She's going, this doesn't bind me in any way, shape, or form. It touches my hips and my boobs, and everything else it's to shape the dress. It's not to shape the body. So it supports everything without contriving, without pushing and pulling and all the rest of it, if that makes sense.
And if you're busty enough going into one of the Elizabethan corsets, you can pack lunch, and your bottle of red wine will be the perfect temperature when you get to your picnic. And and nobody knows it's there.
Just picture signs at those weddings saying, "Please leave your booby wine in your boobs."
Leave your booby wine in your boobs. Seriously.
Like the signs at the cashier now saying, "If you have boob sweat money, please keep it."
Welcome to Corset Wearers Unite.
Yep. No, listen. Anyone? I'm saving up my money right now. There is one of the companies that I buy from has got a really nice stay, and I want to try it because after watching these videos, they talk about it, and they sew them themselves too. And like, there's multiple videos about how, and I'm just like, I don't have those skills. Holy shit, I do not have those skills to be able to sew a corset.
Yes, you do. You know how to use a basic sewing machine. And if you'd rather make one, you and I just need to connect this way, and I'll walk you through it. I make them. I mean,
Nice.
I don't
Okay.
sell
Maybe
them,
we'll do
but
that. Well, maybe we'll have to do that one day because I'd love to do one custom made to my body shape, right? But that's one of the things. Like when I first started wearing corsets, I didn't know how to tie them properly, and 99% of people who buy a corset have no concept of how you tie a corset.
oh
And
yeah,
I'd watched
they're
a video
clueless.
where the woman explained how you tied even a Victorian, and the Victorian were the most structured of the corsets with hip gores, etc. Even that, no, we got to move this whole thing over this way because I'm not moving into the corner more. There we go. When you tie it properly, you're like, oh my God, I can breathe in this just fine. I can do the dishes in this. It's easy. Most people don't understand how to wear one, so they don't tie them properly. And that's what makes a difference. But there you go. Well, that's subject of corsetry for UnFuckers Unite.
I'm glad I brought it up. I mean,
There you go. You brought it up, Monty. It's all your fault.
I mean, I don't wear a corset myself. I know that a lot of goths do because it's just part of the scene. But here in Australia, being summer, I'm just hoping that my shorts cling to my hips so I don't get arrested for indecent exposure. That's about it, really.
Even in summer, Monty, I'll take my Elizabethan kit over modern clothes anytime.
Yep.
Because it is actually cooler to wear,
Yep.
temperature wise.
Those deep
I
rock-
am much more comfortable out in the garden in 6 layers of linen and light wool than I am in a t-shirt and a pair of shorts.
And plus, when you walk through the shopping center or the mall, you have that sort of that feeling of peasants because you're wearing all that.
Those guys
I'm so much better than you.
So more people.
And the guys from the Middle East, they all wear those long flowing fabrics for a reason. It keeps the sun off them. It's actually cooler.
Much cooler.
If it's just your own body heat than having that blistering sun like doing its work on you. So that's why they wear the clothes like that.
Well, one of the historian dressmakers did, because she gets those questions all the time. Aren't you hot in that? Aren't you hot in that? And she did a video where her and 3 friends dressed up in from mid 17th century to early Victorian, 3 different outfits. And they got like one of those temperature reading guns that can read down to skin temperature, like kind of probably what they're using even now. And they used an infrared camera to take heat sensors, and they had them standing in the sun. It was like 35 degrees outside, and they took full body temperatures from like the torso, the legs, the thighs, etc. in all these dressed outfits, and they were wearing everything was exact. It was the right fabrics. They were wearing silk. They were wearing one of the women was wearing light wool, linens, etc. exactly as these period costumes were made. They were made exactly the same. And then they took all the readings and they took them on and put on their street clothes, and they read hotter in their body was hotter in their street clothes than it was in these dressed, because they said back then, even though you were completely covered, so you weren't getting sun on your skin, and they were getting it's all natural fabrics, like it's so they breathe, right? Even if you're wearing multiple layers of petticoats, the one woman had like 3 linen petticoats on to support the dress she was wearing. Her legs were still cooler in the petticoats and the light wool dress than it was when she was wearing jeans. So there you go. There you go. Little again, lesson
I'll
lesson
vouch for
101 in historical costuming and corsetry. Come to me for more facts and details.
Christy too.
And Christy too. That's right. Christy and I'll run a whole thing. We'll do a whole thing on the truth of corsetry and historical outfits.
And I can cover the hermit angle. So just don't go outside and don't shower because you save on water and paying for water, and you can live in your own filth. And you don't get sick. It's really weird.
Tips and tricks, man. I've seen hookers in like city parks that just use wet wipes, and they give themselves an entire body bath with just wet wipes.
Did you have to? That's terrible.
Oh, you haven't lived until you've seen such a thing.
Oh, I don't know what Gail just popped into the background to say. What did you just say, Gail?
Those
Delightful.
I'll never look at those KFC refresher things ever again now.
Yeah, those pretty much are exactly what she was using, I think.
The little ones that they give you on the airplane that smell like lemon. Lemon fresh.
That's for the lesbians. So,
Yeah, something like that. I don't know. Hi everyone, and welcome to the UnFuckIt Discussion.
That was a nice little segue. We can do whatever now.
We can cover any topics now. We're a day late because it was my youngest son's birthday yesterday. He turned 11, so we had all kinds of festivity stuff that we had to do in the house. You know, just in the house because it's lockdown. Can't actually do anything, but we had fun. And Gail's here visiting. But she's doing hair in the living room right now, so she might poke her head in at some point in time to join us with the chat. My internet is shockingly bad, actually. Here,
But I got some crypto stuff that I want to talk about.
Yeah,
We'll call it altcoin stuff. for
altcoin
Dawn's
stuff.
Comfort.
That's right, altcoin stuff. I'm going to make Monty. I'm making you co-host. Can you hit record, please? Just because our internet is so bad. We spent almost 3 hours on the phone with the internet provider today. And I've decided that basically
Vodafone has its reputation for a reason.
Yeah, Vodafone is the worst internet provider on the face of the planet. Do not ever go with Vodafone for anything. I've never dealt with incompetency in customer service before on a level like this. Just in the simple fact of you explain over and over again what your problem is, and it's like they can't read it, they can't comprehend, and you're like, no, we actually have internet at this moment. That's not why we're calling. We've said this 4 times now. Anyways, that's besides the point. Welcome to the UnFuckIt Discussion. It's going to be a ranty day.
So, before the rants happen, I'd like to talk a little bit of cryptocurrency stuff.
No.
Come on, damn it.
Altcoin currencies.
Thank you. Altcoins and Bitcoin stuff. So, in the last little while, some silly things have happened. First,
Oh, yes.
I'm looking at the overall market capitalization for the entire set of them, and it is looking like that it's gone up to 1.4 trillion almost. So that's
okay. Just
the other day, day before yesterday.
When he says the market cap, he's talking about
all the
how
money
much money
invested in
is invested
all
in
of the
all
altcoins.
cryptocurrencies. Total.
So
Sorry, altcoins.
the overall market capitalization fell to about 1.1, a little bit less actually, 1.03 I think it was on Friday, Saturday, somewhere around there. And then it has shot back up since then to about 1.4 trillion. So Bitcoin has been pushing 48,000, and some crazy things have happened. Elon Musk came out with a tweet storm, and then it was a bunch of people jumped on board, like Snoop Dogg, and he posted a little picture of himself as Snoop Doge. And Gene Simmons from Kiss came out and called himself the god of Dogecoin. And Mr. Beast, who has like 60 million followers on YouTube, came out on one of Elon Musk's threads talking about Dogecoin and saying, look, if you're going to talk about this all the time, I'm going to have to YOLO all my life savings into this. Now, Mr. Beast has a lot of money, and I have no idea how much, but and the followers
And a lot of
influence.
A lot of influence.
That happened. So then Elon Musk and Tesla announced that Tesla,
Yes,
going
the
to
internet.
buy
Hold on, guys. Just give a second.
$1.5 billion.
Can you guys hear us?
Now we can.
So what was the last thing you heard? Because Nick's been talking and I'm like, nope, it's fucking frozen. Our internet is so fucking bad.
Um,
Fucking god.
Son of a beach.
Yes. Hold on.
You want to go find him and I'll rant?
Yeah, you're gonna have to wait because we've got no internet and it's
Yeah.
about the whole thing is about to fall right now. Mr. Beast.
Okay.
Okay, hold on. Let me get past. You see, I'll come with me.
So, looks like I've got an epic bunch of screens here. I wish I should do a print screen and capture all of those faces because that's awesome.
I just found it interesting that he was Elon Musk was promoting Doge or Doggy or however you say it,
Dogecoin.
and now he's buying $1.5 billion of Bitcoin.
Yep.
Like, is he trolling everyone?
No, here's the
from
thing.
going from one to the other, or is it the same thing? Or
Well, when anybody buys into the markets, especially in those amounts, they tend to buy in Bitcoins because a Bitcoin is worth $45,000. If you're going to move $1.5 billion into those markets, then the most logical coin to use as a vehicle into the altcoins is Bitcoin because its value is so high. So, in my opinion, he's just dipping his toes in. Tesla itself is just dipping its toes in. And if they're smart, their financial team will probably spread it around in the markets entirely to capitalize on them as much as possible. Now, the funny thing is this morning I get up and I read that now, since Tesla announced that they're dropping 1.5 billion into Bitcoin and buying it, and they're also allowing Tesla products to be purchased with altcoins and Bitcoin in the near future, the price of a Tesla share went crazy. They went up massively after that announcement. So this morning I get up and find out that Apple has now announced that they are going to start developing their own
Cryptocurrency
Apple
wallet.
cryptocurrency wallet, and they're going to invest $5 billion into Bitcoin and altcoin markets. So the Apple shares have gone crazy. Now there's an Apple coin sitting at like number 2,000 and something in position on the coin market cap site, and its listed price is about $123, but the overall volume on that coin in the last 24 hours is over 6,000%. So that coin is about to strap a rocket to its ass and go for a nice little jump.
So, can you guys hear okay? Because the whole video...
Yes.
Okay, just want to make
Yes.
sure. If we start breaking up, someone please put something into the chat, or just to let us know, because it's really, really hard to know. Everyone's frozen right now on my screen.
So
okay, well, the safety word will be banana. So if you see banana
Safety
in the
word
chat,
is banana. Okay.
in the last little while, I've been talking about a coin called Pundy. It was brought to my attention by a friend, and it is currently out of the top 100, but it is valued at less than a cent still. Way less than a cent, 0.001, I think it is. And I've been telling people to buy this coin because it looks like it's a really good company. They are offering methods to use cryptocurrency. The company itself is offering methods to use cryptocurrency as a vehicle in retail settings. So they may actually tether themselves to Visa, because Visa has just recently come out and announced that they're going to allow attachment to exchanges, so you can buy with cryptocurrency with a Visa attached to a Binance or whatever. All of this stuff is putting a lot of money into the overall markets. And every single one of these altcoins is flying 20, 30, 50, 100%, 500% in 24 hours. And it is literally a lottery every day about which one is going crazy. Danny's done very well for herself on PocketNet. I bought some of that Pundy coin that I've been talking about, and I looked at it this morning. It's up 100% this morning, and it's not even close to done.
So you bought $100 worth of that pundy
it was
coin.
like 273,000 of those pundy coins, and the value is gone. It's 250.
So now it's worth over $200 in
240 or something this morning. So there is a lot of money to be made for the average person if they're willing to have the fortitude and the patience to take some of this back from them, like the air quotes them. Because how do you stick it to anybody? Well, you can use their systems against them, like the Wall Street Bets guys just showed us. And you can do the same thing with cryptocurrency. And you can, like, for example, this Apple coin, this AAPL coin that is sitting at 2,000 and something in position, that has had 6,000% volume in the last 24 hours, but it's still down. It's still in the red on the week and on the 24 hours. If Apple starts dropping their $5 billion in cryptocurrency into the markets in the next week, 2 weeks, that coin is going freaking crazy. Now, the other thing that's interesting is if we look at how this has played out in the last little while, Elon Musk comes out and starts making a bunch of tweets about it. And I suspect that, well, if you put it logically, you're not going to come out and mention that you have or talk about something, drive the price of it just by talking about something if you don't already have it. It would be foolish of him to buy it after the fact rather than buy it beforehand and then start talking about it. So in my opinion, he's been holding this money in Bitcoin or quietly accumulating it bit by bit. Bitcoin first, actually, I think. And what we're looking at right now with the price of Bitcoin driving up and up and up beyond all reason at this moment, he's probably having to do it a bit at a time. It's not like you can just walk into an exchange and say, all right, here's my $1.5 billion. I want Bitcoin for all of this right now. You won't be able to fill it. There's not that much free Bitcoin floating around. So if I'm imagining things correctly, his financial team is probably dropping it in a chunk at a time. And what we're seeing is over the course of a few days, a few weeks, whatever the case may be, that $1.5 billion being dropped into those markets a bit at a time as they're able to fill the orders for however much he's placed for. And if you start to get Apple coming in with their $5 billion that they want to start splicing around into the markets and picking things up, then we haven't even seen close to what's coming. And if I'm also looking at investing that money in those markets as one of those financial guys, I'm not dropping it all into Bitcoin, not even by half, because my investments
you won't be able to.
No,
you physically won't be able to.
Number one, you won't be able to. Number two, my physical return on investments, if you want to look at percentage points and zeros, aren't even close to the best of what they could possibly be if they're digging around and playing with some of the other altcoins as well. And their financial teams would be the smart choice to start working within the top 50 coins at the very least. So there's a lot of growth and a lot of movement still coming, I think. On the other side of things, historically speaking, every year, the altcoin markets, Bitcoin, cryptocurrency, whatever you want to say, drops at the beginning of the year. January, February, March, there's usually a pretty sudden, fierce drop in the altcoin markets. And you see it almost every single year with them. And I think that has something to do with the end of the fiscal year, which comes in March 31st. And I think that they're trying to make good for their investment teams and their board of investors, their financial guys. They want to make good for their investors. But this year is something completely different. The entire regular S&P market scheme that they've got set up, the Dow Jones, every single one of those companies, they're doing very poorly. There's not very many of them besides Amazon and Apple and Tesla that are actually doing anything this year. There's a lot of them that are having a very, very hard time and going into like chapter 11. So what we're looking at right now, I think, is an oddity year. I don't think that this year is going to be one where we see a precipitous spike in the markets in the beginning of the year like we have in the last little while. Not until Bitcoin reaches 100,000 anyway. There'll be small pullbacks here and there. There always is. There's this, you got to have the peaks and the valleys on the way up, but I think it's going to keep going for now. I think that with these massive companies coming on board, and some of the stuff that I've been reading has been talking about now that they've seen that this financial company, I can't remember the name of it off the top of my head, that was egging on Elon Musk to make his purchase in the first place, they actually got him to make the purchase. Now Elon Musk made the purchase. Now Amazon is making the purchase, and it's gonna domino. Or sorry, Apple has made the purchase. It's going to domino all the way down through all of the big companies, and they're all going to do a similar thing. So
because they've seen, Tesla buys in, Tesla stock shoots up. Apple buys in, Apple stocks shoot up. The other big S&P type 500 companies are going to go,
shit.
Well, shit. Look at their stocks. Well, what they do? They bought into Bitcoin. Oh, fuck. I guess we better do that too, right?
So now, in the short term, there's some fuckery going on, and I'll talk about that in a minute. But for the long term, I've been looking at a whole range of forecasts for where Bitcoin will actually wind up. And you've got guys like John McAfee who said it'll be worth over $1 million. You've got the Goldman Sachs guys, their actual in-house bankers, who said it'll wind up somewhere around $169,000 per. And then you've got any range of numbers in between. I've seen $350,000 per Bitcoin, and anybody's guess is as good as each other to figure out where it's going to stop. But with the kind of pressure that's on it, it's not going to stop for the next little while, which I think is the important bit of information I can give.
Okay.
I can't say that I can predict the future. I am not a financial advisor. I know jack shit, and I'd just like to put my disclaimer on this and say I have been wrong so many times in my life that it's hard to count them, but I hope I'm not wrong on this one.
I want to talk about, and I talked about this last show, Cliff High put out some, like I said, Cliff High, since this year has started, has kind of gone back to his roots of talking about his the metadata and talking about what his algos have been pulling out in the emotional data of what it is seeing coming. And he's hit on, well, first of all, he accurately predicted in January, early January, the Wall Street bets. Within a day, he predicted the emotional high that was going to be a massive stonk spike, as he called it, right? And then he came out and he predicted that there's going to be another one that is going to be February 9th to 11th.
And it was going to be building behind the scenes. Well,
it was going to be building behind the scenes. We wouldn't necessarily see it. And yesterday, like now in the UnFuckers crypto group, I put a screenshot of these tweets by Gene Simmons, by Elon Musk, by Snoop Dogg, and Mr. Beast. This all started coming out on the 4th and 5th, which is exactly the dates that Cliff, if you watch the video, and I think I posted it with last week with on the Three Amigos, he said between the 4th to the 8th, there would be this background that we wouldn't see it. We wouldn't necessarily see it yet. But on the 9th to the 11th, we were going to see. And on the 9th, we have Elon Musk coming out and announcing that he's putting 1.5 billion in. The strong rumor that Apple is about to put 5 billion in. So anyone who owns cryptos or altcoins, anyone who is in the altcoin market, sees these announcements, and what happens? You go,
fear of missing out kicks in immediately.
No. I'm talking about the excitement level.
Oh,
the excitement level
yeah.
went like this. Like we literally yesterday, we saw the Tesla thing going, this is official now. He's official, and you can now officially buy a Tesla car with fucking altcoins, with cryptocurrencies. Holy shit. This is a major, and it's up. And then we have today this announcement with Apple. Now what's going to come out over the next couple of days? So far, I think the Cliff High has been absolutely dead on the money. Like he's read these graphs of what's showing the emotional. And the thing was, with the Wall Street bet stonk, it was an up and down. And he called it and he said, this next one is going to go up, peak, come down a bit, but then it is going to keep going. It's going to stay level. The excitement, the energy of it is going to stay very, very high up. And I think that's what we're seeing right now in the crypto market, because you have a lot of people, there's a lot of people we've spoken to who've seen these kind of announcements and gone, okay, I have to get in now. I have to actually, like, people are taking it seriously. Mainstream, I'm not talking people like us who talk about these kinds of things. People who are very mainstream are seeing these announcements who 3-4 years ago, they were like, oh, Bitcoin is just a scam. It's not, you're going to lose all your money. Now, when you see someone like Elon Musk buying in, regardless of what your opinion is about Elon, because everyone knows I don't like him, regardless of what your opinion is about the person, the effect within the business realm, the effect within the financial realms of these announcements being made are like the shot that is heard around the world. Literally, they are major, major. You can pinpoint these ones and be like, this is a date to watch, because from this date on, we're going to see major things happen.
So now another thing that I'd like to point out, some fuckery that happens continuously, and this is Ripple. I'd like to talk about Ripple a little bit. A little while ago.
Just guys, we're just going to talk about this and we'll get back to our regular conversation, but there's a few things that we need to finish talking about on the
If everybody's bored with this and wants me to stop, put up your fucking hand, I'll stop right now.
No.
Don, I see Don wants me to stop.
Don's like, yeah, let's go on. We're done with this.
You've come this far. Just finish. Just, don't go on for 45 minutes.
Hey,
All right.
I keep an open mind. I'm listening.
Ripple Labs, in the last little while, I think they were the ones that generated the actual pump scam that came, and they called on the 4th or whatever it was of February that there was going to be a massive value pump, and then it didn't. So Ripple's facing this SEC lawsuit on the 22nd. My prediction for Ripple, it is sitting at 45 cents right now, and it's not going to move much until that SEC lawsuit happens on the 22nd. There is talk that it is going to be thrown out, and then my expectation is that Ripple will launch. According to Gorf, and I agree with him, that this is how they're going to segue into a cashless society, and they're going to use cryptocurrency as a method of getting cash out of society. Yep. And ultimately, I don't necessarily think that we're going to be able to avoid that, as much as I would hope that that would be the case, that we can, because it's not really a great thing and the amount of control that's going to offer. However, that doesn't mean we can't use what's happening right now to make ourselves in a position to, let's say, make those around us better. Right? If I have money all of a sudden, everybody around me is going to be getting some of it. I get to buy a car. Somebody's going to get fucking the cash, because I'm not going to a lot to buy a new one. I'll buy a used one. And it'll start to enrich people in good ways. Anyway, I'm done. I'm done. That's how we take it back from the fuckers.
That's Nick, what I want to talk. Just right that on that one point. Taking it back.
Nick, can I throw something in?
Go ahead,
Danny and Nick, can I throw something in? It is just funny because the other day there was a newspaper headline over here, Nick. You probably gonna love this, because the German police had a hacker, and that hacker has like 50 million in bitcoins, but the government can't access it because the hacker keeps his mouth shut. You know what I mean? And they're seething, they're mad, they're ass mad because they can't get to it. Yeah, and that should tell you all of it. That should tell you all of it, because the government can't access it without the cooperation of that person. So,
yep.
If they're gonna go cryptocurrency in the future, let's hope we get the same.
And this is the thing: is I always come back to this thing about fiat currency. The petrodollar is not evil. It is a tool. We're stuck with it. It's a faulty tool. It sucks.
It plays stupid. To the greed of the few.
It plays to the greed of the few. Yes, all of these things, but it is still a tool that we have to use. And maybe you're lucky enough to win the lotto.
Mr. Beast uses it for good.
Good call.
Can
Mr.
I
Beast.
jump in here a moment?
Yeah, Leonida, go ahead.
Okay, the United States government looks at cryptocurrency as property. So you're buying property whenever you buy any kind of crypto. So it's either when you sell it or buy it is when it's taxable.
Yep.
2, you can store your crypto in Chase Bank or any other Bank of America. Yes, they will store your crypto for you. Okay. 3, crypto is subject to a 50-50 server takedown. So that any government that really wanted to take down any currency could in this discussion.
Right.
That's
Exactly.
the way it is.
Yep. And that's what I've said from the beginning. Leonida, I did a big news story on Bitcoin back in 2012. No, maybe it was the beginning of 2013. No, it was 2012. And talked about the fact of one of the tech guys on Bitcoin fully said in an interview that they're working with the FCC. In order to do that, that means that they're being absorbed into that system, regardless of what they want to present to the public as the storyline narrative. They would not have gone this far if it wasn't being, and like you said, the very fact that banks take it, that you can do all these things, that tells you. But going back, it's what you do with it, right? So Nick brought up Mr. Beast, and if you guys don't know him, he has multiple YouTube channels. This
He's
guy,
awesome. I love him.
He's in all he does awesome stuff. It's all so, and he did, like, for example, if you heard about it, was it the 20 million trees in 2019? We're going to plant a tree, team trees. Elon Musk gave like $1 million. All these guys came forward. They planted a ludicrous amount of trees, not bullshit. They actually did what they said they were going to do. They went and planted all, regardless of what you think about planting trees. Again, he took the money, that fiat currency, and he put it to good use. And he continuously does that by giving back to neighborhoods and going into places and giving people money and giving people houses and giving people cars, etc. It's what you do with it. A gun is not dangerous. It's how you use the gun that is dangerous. A hammer can be just as deadly as a gun, right? It's how you use the tool. And it's the same thing with crypto. Regardless.
Any money.
Yeah, but regardless, gold, silver, gold. You can buy slaves with gold, or you can take over countries with gold.
Pay a hitman. You
can pay a hitman with gold, and they do these things. Like this is, you see lots of bullshit about like, oh, cryptocurrencies is by child trafficking. I'm like, yeah, so does fiat dollars, so does fucking gold. Like literally, like what's your point? It's all
political
these things.
Favors buy that shit too.
Political favors really buy that shit. It's the tool. So if a tool is presented, and what Nick was saying is really true, for us, we want to buy a piece of property, like a physical piece of property, where we can get off grid, where we can become self-sufficient. Well, you know that when we can do that, that will then spread out within our community. Do you know what I mean? Like it'll be like there'll be a corner property for Gail and a corner piece of property for Anne, and we will, and it's a tool. It's what you use with it and what you put into it. And if it's corrupt, who cares if it's corrupt? Use it for what you can use it for, because it's just the same as a fiat currency.
I ultimately care that they're corrupt, but there's no avoiding corruption. It is a human aspect of life that we just can't seem to fucking get away from.
Exactly.
You just got to stop celebrating corruption so very much.
And also, like, the corruption's only, 2 or 3 acts away. Like, someone comes in and goes, you know what, let's back this by gold and silver, and everything can change.
Yeah.
It's that simple, and that basically. But, you still have to buy food. Like, for those, I shared a meme of, like, you're a light worker. Why do you charge money for doing all this stuff? And it's a guy in front of an empty fridge going, hello. It's still part of the game. On living on this planet, you still eat.
Yep.
Okay.
Listen, Nick brought up my Pocket Coin, right? So for PocketNet, I've been on PocketNet from day one when they first basically launched it. I have because Pocket Coin is kind of sort of tied to Bitcoin. Pocket Coin is now worth 38 cents. I have enough money. I'm actually going to take some of my Pocket Coin out and sell it into Bitcoin, and I'm going to buy us a car. Okay, we've been without a car since December. We haven't had a car since December because ours died. We will take that I've earned on PocketNet. I will take some of that, and I'm going to buy the family a car. It'll be a secondhand car, and that money will go to, like, Nick's going to look and go on secondhand listings and say, hey, will you take Bitcoin? Because you guarantee someone out there is going to be like, fuck yeah, I'll take Bitcoin for the car. No problem.
Can you actually, like, trade with, like, you can have fraction of a Bitcoin? Because if one Bitcoin is $43,000 US, that's a fucking great car.
No,
but you can buy in 50 quid or 50 pounds or 50 American dollars even worth of Bitcoin, and it usually comes in at 0.000 something of a Bitcoin.
Yeah.
It still has its value.
Exactly. You don't have to buy a whole Bitcoin. You can buy 50
Okay. Yep.
Bitcoin. Same thing you can sell. But that's one of the reasons
I'm working on
why
methods of turning those into real life things now.
Yeah.
I want to start being able to show everyone that it can be done, that you can turn these things that you're playing with, and it's just monopoly money on a screen for all intents and purposes, but I want to show that now you can start to turn them into real life things. That's more important to me at this moment.
And there's a few things. Someone in one of my gardening groups just posted a link to a person who's just started up, and they're a farmer themselves, and they do their own seeds. It's all heritage seeds, and they're selling for cryptocurrency. And I was like, that's who I'm going to go do business with, because I have cryptocurrency. I got no dollars. But I have cryptocurrency. So if I can buy seeds using cryptocurrency, bonus.
We should segue to a different topic.
Okay.
Well, I was going to ask, so how long till the government steps in and start regulating and trying to get taxation out of it?
Well, have you seen how templates work? They want it to be popular, but it isn't popular enough yet. So they're going to let it ride until it becomes popular to a certain point, and then they're going to start to step in, and then they're going to start to authoritarian control it more than they do now, and dip their hands into your pockets. Problem is right now, man, and you know this as well as anybody else, when you go to a job and you earn whatever your salary be, it $7, $25, $50 an hour, the government finds the way to put their hand in your pocket up to the elbow at the very least. And it doesn't get any better every year. So, there's only so far that your pocket can go before it's like, wow, there's nothing left.
Yeah, like a year ago, I started a business. It's not doing that well. Like I have made no money, but I've got 547 subs on YouTube. So I think I'm successful. But, the realization that basically if you start a business, the government gets 30% of your earnings. I'm like, do I get a cuddle afterwards? You being ass raped, you fucks. But
you don't get a cuddle. No, you don't. And you don't want one.
Yeah.
Hey, so on TurboTax, they asked you now, about cryptocurrency. I don't know if anybody here uses that, but they got a whole section on that now.
But they can't tax it. They can't tax it if you don't spend it, because it's just.
They want to know. I don't know. I don't pay. I just noticed it.
I wouldn't, for example, I've never reported any cryptos that I have. Never. And we talked about this to someone else and saying, we were talking to a friend of ours and said, if you're selling a car and I want a car and I say, hey, I'll give you the person's asking 1,500 quid, 1,500 pounds sterling for a car. And you say, I'll give you 1,500 pounds sterling worth of Bitcoin. And they go, yeah, awesome. Who knows?
It doesn't go through a bank.
It doesn't go through a bank. It doesn't go through
the only tax the government gets is the road tax.
The only tax the government gets is the road tax when you turn it around, which no one can get around.
Yeah, I don't know how that happens, but they do ask you if you cashed it in or whatever.
Yeah, if you've cashed it in. That's what. If you're holding it, though, they can't do jack shit. If you cashed it in, that's a different thing.
Now, interestingly, Dawn, I wonder if a lawyer could get around that a little bit by saying, okay, so you purchased a house with Bitcoin, and that is technically a taxable transaction, but you didn't cash it. You just purchased it. So is that actually technically a taxable transaction?
And it would depend on, in the States, it would depend on what state you're in. Like that's literally, that should be like, go buy one. What is it? Wyoming that has no, is it Wyoming or Montana that has no taxation? One of the two would be like, maybe that's where you go make your actual exchange is in a place you have to find out.
Stuff to carry it across state line, which I think they.
Well, let's bring up the fact that they're putting together a domain in Utah right now of all the big tech companies and wanting them to come in and form a community where they have their own rules and their own laws and their own courts.
Really?
Well, so basically they can have slavery again? I mean, literally, legally?
They can do whatever the fuck they want. And they just announced it this last week because, of course, all these companies are coming to Texas, right?
Yeah.
So now Utah's like, okay, we want to do this.
We want a piece of that.
So they have a whole drawing they've done, and it's going to be like this is the beginnings of everybody doing their own thing. I'm telling
But honestly,
crazy.
who in his right mind would give a corporation the right to call out like a government or to become independent and have that kind of power? I mean, governmental power for a fucking corporation like Apple.
Okay, but here's the thing, Bossy. Here's the thing. My question on that. If they go ahead and do that in Utah, what's to stop a group of unfuckers getting together, buying 500 acres of land in Texas somewhere and doing the exact, or in Utah, in another area of Utah, buy 500 acres of Utah and do the exact same thing, saying, it's ours.
You declare it a district, right? Like they did District of Columbia. District of Columbia becomes its own country.
You'd have your own currency. You'd have your own laws.
If they do that, they set a precedent, because all you have to do is start up a corporation, buy up this land, and away you go. Ooh, that could play out very interesting in the future.
As long as you pay the feds enough money, they'll leave you alone.
Yeah.
If you don't, they'll crush you like Waco.
So let's talk about the Time magazine article where they admitted all their shit.
Oh.
What?
I was just going to quickly.
What?
Fuck you, and this is how we did it. The Time magazine.
The Time article from last week, where they basically said, "Oh, we didn't rig the election; we fortified the election."
Oh, that
They put it all out there.
They fortified the election.
I know. I mean, it's insane.
They fully admit it that I wasn't sure which Time article you were meaning. That one, I just literally saw that one today before the internet went out. That's crazy, because they literally fully outed themselves, admitted.
So that has to do with lore somehow. This has to do with spiritual law that they're doing.
That universal law, like they have to tell you.
They're stepping it up to how much they really don't give a fuck, and they're telling you about it now. They're like, yeah, look.
Well, because nothing can really be done, because the lie has been bought. Where like, oh, Biden's the president, and no one cares. Like, he got booed apparently at the Super Bowl. I couldn't give a flying fax machine about it. And
the Super Bowl happened.
Yeah, yesterday.
Yeah, apparently yesterday or the other. Yeah.
Reddit took out an ad
because the quarterback didn't wear a mask and he's a Trump supporter, and the leftards actually said, "How dare a white man win the Super Bowl in Black History Month?"
Oh fuck.
Yeah.
Well, I also saw that
racist.
Reddit took out a massive ad to talk about their GME stonks move.
What was that, Dawn?
No, but y'all think about it. Pirate. Remember? Patriot to a pirate.
And remember, Buccaneers are under your buck and hat.
Yeah. It's the symbolism behind it. And I mean, Maurice was talking about a play. Tell him about that play you were telling me about where you.
I'm not sure I know what you're talking
about. The Super Bowl. You said that.
Oh, the first touchdown that Tampa Bay had after Kansas City kicked their field goal on the opening drive of the second half. They had a running play. The guy ran in, I don't remember, maybe 15 or 20 yards in. I watched those safeties pull up the last 5 yards. There were like 3 safeties. If they were serious, they'd have stopped that guy, but they just
let him go. The whole thing's a setup.
I looked at that.
It always has been.
I didn't say anything to Dawn at the time. Unbelievable.
But it's this blatant now, and then of course the halftime show was just with the what do you call those things that guys wear in football to hold their knees?
Like jock strap things they had on their face.
Yes.
Yeah,
they weren't real.
I saw a picture of that. I didn't know that was Super Bowl. I just saw a picture of that, and I was like, "Well, that's an interesting use for a jock strap."
Just stupid.
They had some kind of formed mask on their face that they were wearing that looked like a jockstrap. Literally.
That was during the halftime show.
I didn't even know that because I don't.
Every time I hear Super Bowl, Stanley Cup, anything like that, the Lego movie Go Sports Team comes into my mind.
Someone jokingly said it was Slipknot with all the guys wearing the same thing, but I missed it all because I don't care. mainly
And then
because I recently watched very quickly. I watched a video on, you know, the woman who apparently was killed in the Capitol incursion.
Yep.
Apparently, who was shot in the neck at the
Yeah.
doorway.
Yep.
A guy breaks it down. I can try and find it for you. It's on BitChute. He goes for about 20 minutes and he follows the one camera. Like, he takes the footage from one camera.
I've seen
He's
it.
got a time code on it. And he just points out how everything is completely fake. Where, like, when you spoiler alert, she's still alive when she's being wheeled outside the building towards an ambulance. But they say she's dead 20 minutes earlier when she's lying on the ground. And, you know, the fake squibs and Hollywood and everything else like that. There's just way too much, you know. Basically, watching that, I realize everything's fake. I don't trust anything because I don't give an ass anymore. I'm just going to I'm going to start taking drugs again. Fuck it.
Remember me talking about that big book of truth, Monty?
Yeah.
And how the guy, even if it's the biggest criminal or fucking most controversial, let's call him Kim Jong-un. Let's say he comes out and he puts the big book of world truth on the table, and everybody looks at that book and they go, yep, that's the truth. That man's a fucking hero for all time. That's
Regardless,
That's how fucking repressed and stupid our planet is right now.
Yeah.
It's fucking crazy.
Yeah.
You know what it feels like? It's like all of the, you know, like his stack of executive actions that he's done, right? And in the White House being like a prop set up, like we're all being.
And a military presence in fucking DC.
Yeah, so they got the fence and all that. So like, it makes me think that, you know, we're all watching the surface stuff, but underneath something really big is going on.
But doesn't that feel much more like a dictatorship than a fucking democracy at this point? You know, like he's
anyone who does like 40 odd executive orders in what,
in 2 weeks.
That is dictatorship.
Yeah, but the Pentagon hasn't allowed them in. The Pentagon has stopped them.
Well, that's what we're told, right? Like, that's what I'm saying. I'm not going to go into the rumor stuff. Just on face value, the man took office, wrote 40 odd fucking executive orders, which bypassed
Washington,
Congress.
DC with walls and military.
Put up walls and put the military in. And I'm saying, we're only talking just surface stuff. We're not talking about what the underlying, whatever. That's a dictatorship. That's a dictatorship. That's not democracy. 47 executive orders, 42, 45, however many there were. That's a dictatorship. And anyone can actually see it and watch this from, like I say, I'm talking about the people who are asleep, the people who are just taking things that, you know, think that CNN actually tells the truth. How can you watch that stuff and not go, wait a second, I got a question. Like, wait, what? Huh? What?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Everybody is in cognitive dissonance.
Yes.
I think here.
Yes.
Well, AOC, because I don't know how to say her actual full name because it's really long and I'm English, so it's like AOC.
Yeah.
Just her in 7 days, she's gone from Ted Cruz wanted to kill me 3 weeks ago, and then it came out that she wasn't anywhere near the fucking building.
Yeah.
And the media's still pushing her story of like she was in,
I almost
blah, blah, blah.
died.
Steven Crowder broke
You
it all
weren't
down.
even there.
Also,
no, but I almost died. No, you weren't even there.
it's like David Hogg. It's like, so I was there at the Capitol building. You know, that annoying guy from the Parkland shooting
Who just can't let his 15 seconds of fame go away.
Did you hear that Steven Crowder and company are actually suing Facebook?
I don't know.
Who's Steven Crowder? I know the name, but I can't.
Steven Crowder is a conservative right-wing comedian who does a weekly show Monday to Thursday on YouTube. And he did. He's been doing more journalism this year.
Louder with Crowder. Yes, I have heard of that.
Yeah. Sorry. Yeah. This is the show Louder with Crowder. Facebook actually cut his stream during election night when Biden was actually doing his speech of, we've done well, I'm going to bed, everyone else should go to bed so we can find all these votes underneath a table. Facebook just dropped hit the stream and they haven't said why. And so basically, 2-3 months later, they're suing Facebook because no one else will. Like half the Republican Party is dead to him because they didn't do anything. And it's interesting to see, like, I mean, the Democrats have this delusion of their gods, but the Republicans, I mean, I hate the two-party system anyway because they're all fucked in the head.
Yeah.
But the Republicans are like, they're trying to save face, but they're all losing. You know, it's a shit show.
It's a shit show. You cannot make it make sense.
I can.
Y'all got to remember, I talked about this a long time ago, or I want to say a couple of years ago, when I told you that the Democrats and the Republicans walked in a fucking room and signed off on FASB 56, which meant that they could move the money anywhere they wanted to without telling anyone. And if they did that together as, you know, a group, then we're going to have to consider that Trump's in on this.
Yeah, they're a group then. Guess
what?
what?
That's too big a deal. Why would he do that? See, that's the thing. There's too much on the backside of this. And then, you know, Donald Trump Jr. doing that last video. The best is yet to come. You know, I don't know if y'all saw that a few weeks ago.
No.
Trying to give everybody hope. Well, what is the best yet to come? What the fuck are you talking about?
You know, wait 4 years till the next election.
They're all in on it together. That's me.
Don, just a question over here from the Netherlands. Are you still believing the Trump stuff? Because I went after Trump stuff in, I think it was June or something.
No, I don't. I think we're all being
played.
I
think we spoke about it, the Rattenvanger van Hamelen, the guy with the flute, you know, he's the false messiah. He's the false messiah. There was going to be a false messiah, that's him, but who's coming back?
Jared Kushner. He watching his little feminine ass. That's
I described Trump about 2-3 years ago. He started because he, you know, words, actions, they weren't matching up.
Yeah.
But he was basically like the Obama. Trump was Obama for the Republicans. If you remember how Obama was like, hope change, everyone gets a phone, nothing happens, I killed people with drones. See you. No return. See you next week.
Yeah, Leonidas said it, and this is one of the most people talk about right wing and left wing. They're both on the same bird. Right wing and left wing, same bird, and it's right there in the words that they use. It's right there in the words that they use.
Yeah, but we know everybody in this realm is answering to an off-planet influence. Okay?
No.
I'm sorry, but it's true. So why would Trump be able to trump that? I mean, there's that whole contingent that nobody's talking about.
Words speak
the
loud.
The problem is getting the masses to fucking all settle on the same thing, you know. And everybody wants to go off on a Republican or a Democrat or guns or abortion or fucking like the alt media crowd wants any number of things, but we all just need to simply sit down and agree that it's too fucked to go on, and unify behind that kind of a thought.
And that's just it. And we've had this. Sorry, go ahead, Monty.
Oh, there's just too much division because you can't even sit down and have a conversation. We can, because we're on the same wavelength. But I mean, I'll use an example of just the entertainment industry. People love The Last Jedi, and most people don't. However, there's this constant, there's all this conflict, and everyone is against each other. And you got this. It's like the Dolores Cannon. There's a splitting of frequency and worlds. You can see it in everything.
Everything.
Where it's like, well, I got called a sexist and a homophobe and all these names under the sun because I think the Last Jedi script is poorly written. It's like what
does that have to do with being misogynistic or sexist
and all that shit? And
it's poorly
very hard
written.
to have a conversation with them. Yeah, it's it's a piece of paper. But that's the problem as well, where like Biden and co, they're asking for unity. It's like, well, apologize for your behavior for the last 4 years or fuck off.
The inception of the fucking government, for Christ's sake.
I said that in a post. I'm like, you call for unity and impeachment in the same fucking breath?
That
does not work.
Let's all get
that's
on the
today
simple.
as well.
Here's the thing. I'm all for simple. I love simple. And when you get right down to the root of things, That's where a lot of truth lies. And you can imply a lot of hidden truth from simple shit. And what they're doing right now is about money and power. And it always is, and it always has been. And it's not money and power for emancipation of the masses. It's money and power for a couple of pricks. We need to stop that. And we need to unify on simple principles and simple things like our government is so fucked, it has to end the way it is. Because what we have is a version of, let's say, personal freedoms, let's say freedom of speech, let's say fucking financial slavery, any number of issues that come up politically. Let's say that they could all be fucking solved by just getting down to the simple fact of the fucking bureaucracy that we've got moving around right now is so useless as it is the problem. It's not looking at all the individual little bits that are we could potentially call problems. The entire system itself right now is the problem. That's the simple part of it. Go ahead, Monty.
It's been cleverly put.
I don't know if he's got.
I don't know if Monty's waving or if the video's
they've got really big sticks frozen.
I don't know if Monty's waving or if the video's frozen.
I was waving.
Say that again, Monty.
Basically, I came up with a term. The man with the stick doesn't care about your paperwork. And so we're at a level where people in control don't care if you've got a piece of paper saying I'm non-sovereign, whatever. There's the criminal element. And so there's a small group of people. You need everybody to get off the knees like David Icke and go against the small group of people. However, there's too many people benefiting from the system at the moment.
Well, Monty, if you say that, in my country, in the Netherlands, it was on the news that preppers, people that warn people, just normal prepping, normal stuff that you can do that I've been speaking about, and also about the alien shit and all that kind of stuff. If you speak about that in the Netherlands, nowadays, can you hear me, Monty?
Yes.
Everything's okay. Nowadays, they said on the news that we are being extremists, that we have been watched, that our family has to call in and just say, we are very, very worried about whatever person in your family. If you do not consent taking the shot that they are giving us, and we have a hospital over here in the Netherlands that they can keep you in until you're healthy. But what does that healthy mean?
Yeah.
Does that mean that I'm not allowed to prep? Does that mean I just have to sit silent? I can't speak my truth anymore? My mom's getting really scared and saying, you have to shut up and don't appear on the YouTube anymore. And I'm just saying, what? I'm going to do whatever I want.
That's the problem as well, where even like the cancer culture aspect, people are self-censoring their own actual speech. Like I know because Danny doing this show, there are a lot of people who watch this show and are thankful because they realize there's people that think like that. What we think, we have critical thinking, and we can actually disagree on certain things, but that's the joy of being human. But this weekly show helps people out because they feel so alone because everyone else around them is stuck in the mainstream view of reality where you can't actually bring up any questions.
Now, it's not about question. We have our prime minister. He said on the thingy that he does every week, he said, I never took the test up my nose. And the whole of the Netherlands went, what? And you're asking the children at school district to put the thing up their nose. That's crazy. And he just said it laughing, because if you're not sick, you don't have to do it. But we have to do it mandatory or what?
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's getting really out there. And if you say something about it, then I have to wear my hat or whatever, my tin hat.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, oh, you believe this, even though you can show people evidence of, like, you know, the sun used to be yellow. Here are photos. Oh, but it's white and it's racist. It's a white racist sun. But there's the element of fear as well. But after a year, we're coming up to, like, in about 3-4 weeks, there'll be the anniversary of the 14 days to flatten the curve. And it could probably go for another 2 years. Humanity's being tested, and it's going to sort of push everyone to breaking point, I think. like here in Victoria, Melbourne, we've had 2 major lockdowns. If we have another lockdown, I don't know what will happen because no one has any money. All the savings are gone, and it's just going to push over the. There has to be drastic change for people to survive. I saw an article. Apparently, food prices are going to start going up because they haven't got workers in the farms to pick the food, and it's basically. In the last 12 months, the medical system's been proven it's completely incompetent. Parliament and the politicians are incompetent and also getting full pay. That's lovely, isn't it? They haven't taken a pay cut while everyone else, and then you've got the politicians where the Super Bowl was in Florida, and the governor or mayor were in that area said, we've got video footage of everyone who's not wearing a mask, and they'll be picked up by the police. And then there's a photo of her actually at the Super Bowl without wearing a mask. So it's that classic rules for thee and not for me. That separation. Are you back, D? Oh, I'm rapping. Thee, me, D.
Hey, maybe we should hold all these fuckers by their standards they're holding us to. Like,
but how?
If they're how do they hold us to the standards, right? They create an angry mob that is mad at someone and they're haunting them. So why can't we do the same with them? If they pretend to be not evil and we have to be all the same and we're all equal, then let's be all fucking equal. Give us your trillions of Apple stock or shit like that. You know what I mean? Like,
no, but that won't happen.
That won't happen, but what else do we have? I mean, what else do we have to hold them to the same standards?
Because, the government has the army on the side, and so I mean, if you looked at the please God, don't look at the inauguration, but that what I call the democratic delusion, where they saved America from the next Hitler, which is Donald Trump, and they've completely got their own fantasy reality going on, and I mean. They're actually they're checking the military or at least the National Guard to see if there's any Trump supporters in there because they may be rogue domestic terror. They're building this whole reality because they think they're right.
Monty, the flag that they're censoring right now is the Don't Tread on Me flag. And that was one of the Marine Corps flags from, I think it was like the War of 1812. So that's a historic flag that they're saying represents Trump terrorists or something. And they're totally making stuff up and blowing it all out their ass, truthfully.
Yeah, okay? You'll get to the point where the stars and stripes will, if the American flag is a terrorist flag, but aren't you representing America? It's like the Democrats in when they certified the Electoral College, we have to follow the Constitution. Yeah, but the voting fraud was before that, and we skip that part. And they're supposed to stand up for the Constitution while destroying it from within. There's just so much
about the Super Bowl. They told you it switched from patriot to pirates. They put it right in your face.
Mm.
Yeah, we've got a big
flags and everything was political about Trump. One of the flags, which I think's the original, the 13. You coming in and out. Are you going to stay this time, D?
I'm trying. I'm trying.
I know you're trying, but are you going to stay? Hey. Nope, they're frozen again. Oh, for fuck's sake.
Yeah, I was saying we've got a big lawsuit going on about the pandemic. In other words, what constitutes one? And it's going on in 3 different states, and it's a combined effort with a bunch of different lawyers that they're trying to get this crap done with.
You guys.
Somehow, Leonida, Texas is part of that, right?
Can't hear you.
Yeah, I think we're leading that actually.
Texas, New Mexico, and Ohio, I think, are part of it.
Good. Good. Yeah, everybody's tripping here in Houston because of the oil and gas thing.
Hearing like half sentences. I have no idea.
Dee and Nick are moving. No, they're frozen again. See, this
So
is
what
what
is
happens when you move
happening
to a
over
third
there,
world
Doc?
country.
Well, it's just that, we have a Democratic mayor in Houston, right? And so all the governors in the United States that are Democratic are part of what they call the Green Party or the Green Deal. And so the job is to start implementing that into the United States. So, of course, Houston is oil and gas capital, right? I mean, that's what we do here. So they made our mayor the head of that freaking organization. And his job is to transform Houston into renewable energy. And so, of course, everybody went into shock here. So it'll be interesting to see how that plays out. The guy's going to get lynched and he's going to be hanging from a fucking tree. I'm telling y'all right now. And just like Man in the High Castle, what the shit they do to us is going to have to be turned around on them so that they do fear us. I hate to say it, but
No, the French learned that. Have you seen? Have you seen the French government? Anytime that the French people actually protest anything, a loaf of bread's been cut the wrong way, everyone stop, we're going on strike. And then the government's like, oh shit, we should do something. Remember the last time we ignored them back in 1776? Everyone died. Like the French government are the only government, I think, on the planet that are truly scared of their people. It's slightly funny, but also that they know.
Texas, I think if you're a Democrat here, you're going to be running for your life eventually, because they're going to they're going to be like, you don't like it, get the fuck out.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I said, we've got a couple of lawsuits going on, and basically what it comes down to is that how when they look at the numbers, they're suing for the real numbers on what's going on. They're suing on what other virus goes by cases and not deaths. They're suing on a bunch of different topics to make it in your face about how they have abused this setup that they're using to keep everybody home. And now that it's out in the wild, it's never going to go away. So people need to realize that we're going to be living with this the rest of our lives. And that's how viruses are. I mean, they mutate all the time. And until they can come up with a vaccine that will truly, what they did like with cholera and there was another one, not polio, the other one, that they could actually get it taken care of. We're going to be looking at this stuff for the rest of our lives. Yeah, smallpox. That's what it was.
Well, like, I think cholera, a big helpful thing for that was sanitation and indoor plumbing as well. So,
we've got that breaking out in California again.
Yeah, they've got the Black Plague, but that's because it's the homeless people all stuck together and everything else like that. And it's at some point, I see humanity kind of snapping because it's just getting, how many times can you be punched in the face before you say, stop that? Because of the lockdowns, I think it's, Apple, Amazon, and Elon Musk, and Bill Gates, those 4 or 5 people, they've made, $37 trillion. It's the same amount that the poor have lost. It's just like handed over that way. And they still have this completely. There's Bill Gates is upset that there's conspiracies about him out there, and it's evil. Facebook actually has started to crack down on misinformation about COVID-19, so there's more censorship happening on Facebook.
Well, we're starting to have the thought police over here.
Yeah. Yep. 1984, which apparently it was supposed to be a parody. Not a comedic parody, but it was supposed to be a parody. And George Orwell, didn't want to call it 1948 because it was, he just swapped the numbers. And it's turned out to be a blueprint instead of a warning.
It's all black magic. It's all high level magic, the way they insert this shit in. There's a whole nother level to this that they play out. and it just all folds in together. But ultimately, you know, what's good for the goose is good for the gander. So we'll just sit back and watch what these fuckers do. And then we'll take whatever things they're utilizing for themselves. And like Danny said, let's do something with those same.
Well, yeah, that's not like engaging in the left-right paradigm, because you're feeding the beast type thing. You're giving it energy, and so by observing it, where I mean, quantum experiment, you're affecting it because you're watching it, but don't pick a side, and you're not feeding it energy. And like I work with the model is that the Earth is a massive energy farm, and certain entities use loosh and sell it through the galaxy. Why would the New World Order is one of the worst business ideas you could possibly have? Why would you want to actually cull your herd down by 80%? That's the stupid. Like, if you've got 7 billion people allegedly, why do you want to cull it down to 500 million people? Because you can't, if you've got 7 cows, you don't get rid of 6.5 cows. Why aren't we getting the same amount of milk? You know what I mean? The product's not there.
Because to them, they can't control the amount of people that there is.
Oh, but there are, you are correct. There's certain psychopaths who want to control everything, but you could still actually have an energy farming program where, a good slave is when they don't think they're a slave, where everyone could be living happily and they don't know that they've had energy being sucked out of them. Not too much, but I don't see the New World Order kicking in, because that will destroy the farm. And so I think I reckon the New World Order is allowed to go and run its course, because Biden's shown his colors in the first 2 weeks, over 40 executive orders. It's like, this is from a man who actually said executive orders are how a dictator works. And it's just their arrogance is so, what's the right way? It's so huge that they're just showing everyone.
Well, Monty, look at the energy that they're sucking out of us right now. They can store that. That's just a major, major energy suck, especially with the fear that we can't express. If we can't express the fear, it will stay in our fields. We will put that into this planet, and that's what they're harvesting. I feel that.
Yeah. But you want to actually have the fear of a Cold War, not actually like a nuclear war. You want to have the fear of the Cold War so you can generate that constant fear. If you actually have a nuclear war, that's the end. You need to have that kick the can scenario instead of actually an endpoint. And the New World Order, where they want to depopulate and do all this stuff, where it's certain aspects think they want to control humanity, but the higher ups, these are the idiots we're talking about. The psychopaths that rule the world don't want these idiots in charge, because they're getting rid of the herd.
Bottom line is, you have got to own your own game, or you're going to be in someone else's game.
Yeah.
And energetically, that is the key.
Yes.
That's your birthright as a being. You either own that shit and walk in it every day, or you're in their game. It is an energetic war.
Hey, if they are after our energies, how about we send them the wrong kind of energies,
Steer it back, Bassie. You have rules to your field. And if that shit coming in doesn't line up with your rules, then it automatically reverts back to the creator of that energy.
Yeah. One thing, Danny just asked me to tell you that they can't even get back into the Zoom room now. So we'll chat it for another 45 minutes. And so she just asked me to tell everyone that. So that's why they're not here, because, they live in a third world country, apparently, with the thing. And with the energy farm. So I'm recording anyway, so I'll be able to send the file to Danny, so she'll still be able to put the show back up and she can watch it and go, oh, I could have said that. And
that's if they can get the file.
Yeah, well, that's true. Yes, that's like, I'll give them the link and then hope for the best. But with
might have to get you maybe have to get an SD card and a carrier pigeon in that case, you know.
Yeah, well, yeah, because the 2 cans and the string's not enough. Apparently, it's too far away. With the energy thing, the way to get out of it is like self mastery and living your own life and generating your own dream bubble. However, now if you don't flow with my language, find your own language. It's basically you find yourself. It's your experience, and you don't, as Dawn said, if you're playing someone else's game, you're taken over. Play your own game, do no harm, and by doing that, you actually leave their matrix because you're raising your vibration.
Let me just say this: it's the easy way to do it. Sit down and write on a piece of paper what defines you as a being. It's a great experience, and then go into your bathroom. I sat in front of my mirror and I spoke these things to myself. And then I instituted energetically those very things because we're creator beings. See, they know this. That's why they get us to create all their bullshit. See, because they can't create for nothing. So bring it back home, make that statement to yourself and hold that. And keep it by your bed, you know, if you have to read it every day. Eventually it becomes part of who you are. And the lore in this realm states that if you own your own game, it has to do what you put into place.
Yeah, basic physics. Yeah, whatever you put out comes back at you. It's like a placebo universe where, you know, yeah, whatever you put out. Yeah, I'm not sure how many people follow or have seen the information of Bashar, not the leader of Syria. I like the information he shares. I'm not a devotee because it's like not my cup of tea, but the stuff that he shares makes sense. And it's like this 4 or 5 basic rules of creation. And one of them is whatever you put out comes back at you. So what do you think's happening to the cabal? Because their plans are all completely lost. I mean, Trump,
Monty, you got to remember, they get us to create everything. So therefore, they're able to transfer their karma onto us.
Yeah.
So this is a big fucking deal.
Yeah, but it's not working for them anymore.
Well, it is on a certain condition.
No, it's not. It's not.
Not us.
It's not working for them. If it were working for them, Joe Biden would actually be in the actual White House. Think about that.
Yeah, it is funny to see the parking lot in the background behind the windows.
Oh, did you see the photo of one of the 2 set pieces seems to be split in the wall? And it's like, I'm not saying 100% it's true or not, but it's like someone, if it's a psyop being put out, it's well done. Or if they are actually not at the White House or whatever it is, someone's a complete idiot. Mind you, did you see the photo of the FBI? They had a photo of the Q shaman in the Capitol building, and they were talking about the guy next to him, and they were saying he's a guy and he's done this and blah blah blah, and we're being arrested him. But the photo they used, instead of actually having an 18th century politician in the background, it was a big black guy who was naked. And someone actually photoshopped that in. And the FBI has used that as an actual evidence. It's like, yeah, this is the level of incompetence we're getting used to now.
Yeah. You see the difference between the primes in this realm and the beings that are part of the matrix.
Well, I use the example, angels create and the demons manipulate. And if you start taking control over your life again, even, you know, who knows what you have to deal with, like, you know, you may not win the lottery, which is probably a good thing because apparently that's a soul contract where it's like you have to deal with shit. But if you I've stopped watching the whole thing. Like, I may watch the Trump impeachment because I need material for my comedy.
Yeah, that's that one Eastern here.
Yeah, it's around about 3 hours apparently, maybe 3 or 4 hours. It's going to start. It's 2:20 in the morning here, so at 5 a.m. people get lost. So it starts in
especially in the outback. No,
yeah. But you don't. It's like when when someone is, what's wrong with Dave? Oh, his football team lost. Why does he think that his cow? Someone stabbed his mother. You know how they invest so much into a football team, and they're invested emotionally. And we went to war, and Jimmy didn't make it. It's like, it's just a football game. They'll play next week. But it's you don't
empty. If you're empty, you need something to fill it with, right?
That's exactly what I was going to say, Bassy. Look at all the kids in their 20s that are addicted to video games. They fucking checked out of this place.
Mm-hmm. Well, shit, that's why.
I mean, same thing though, because I have both of my best friends have sons, and they're both 22 and 23 years old, and they both will work, and then they come home and they game. They'll stay up all night. One of them has 2 babies who he hardly interacts with. Think about this, because they don't like this place.
Yeah, even you've got the younger kids because of Greta Thunberg, and the left-leaning teachers have been telling kids that the planet only has 12 years left. And
she's in trouble.
Yeah, I know. That's a good thing. Comeuppance for her. But there's reports, unfortunately, that 9-year-olds are attempting to take their life because they're told that the planet's going to end in 12 years. Which they've been saying that since 1989.
And the world's going to end. Yeah, so I ain't buying that with the.
Yeah, but it's the teachers that are pushing the whole global.
The pull towards virtual reality. The pull towards crypto, the pull towards everything digital. I mean, everything is pulling that direction.
Yeah, there's an element of the Team Dark that want to go transhumanism, where we'll merge with the computers and live forever. Unfortunately,
we're already there.
Yeah, if you're actually natural, you are a fractal of Prime Creator. You'll last longer than some guy that's doing it with a robot.
I mean, that article?
Hey, think about it. You know that part in the Bible that says they will wish for death and they will not find it. Now you know what that means.
Yeah, even
that article about Elon Musk playing Pong with a monkey that's using its brain to play, because they've implanted a chip in its brain already, and they're talking about human trials coming soon.
Yeah, he talked about on Joe Rogan. It's whatever. Yeah,
Neuralink.
Yeah, Neuralink.
Yeah.
But it's only 6 months earlier he was saying that AI is dangerous, and then he's gone to the thing of like, well, no, we'll put some computer chips in your brain, and you'll be connected to the internet.
Well, it's all about virtual property, so you wouldn't own anything in real life. That's what they're trying to get everything to go through. That's what it's all about, is owning fake stuff.
Yeah, that you won't own anything and you'll like it.
Right.
So maybe they want to bring everybody down in population, because obviously this is tech that could basically, you could live forever. So why would they need any of this, the normal number of people? They wouldn't. I mean, they're already turning things over. They're opening a grocery store in Austin, I think, and they're going complete AI on the whole thing. They're not going to have anybody fucking there checking anybody out.
Go ahead, Bessie.
Dawn, I would suggest they would need everyone. I mean, the way everything is going, or better said, the direction we are on is literally going straight into the Matrix universe, right?
Yes.
Like, why would you have to want the people roaming the streets if you can put them in a tiny little pod and then send them into a virtual world where you can tell them, see, you don't need anything outside. You got everything you need here. You have your life online. See, you have your Minecraft property. What do you need more, right? Like, just to keep us busy, and like you all suggested, like feeding off our energy. I mean, if we're speaking about energy, we can speak about a lot of things, like the spiritual part, or just the physical part, like the warmth of your body that is used to do something else with it, sort of.
Yeah.
Like
The interesting thing is, like with everything you've just explained, which I was about to sort of bring up, watch The Matrix again, and you'll be horrified of like, wow, that's where we're heading. Spiritually, using the physical body, you'll be able to do that. Like, you know, like in VR, I can fly. Yeah, if you remember, you tap into your God spark or whatever it is.
Yeah, you have it already built in, right?
Yeah, it's all natural. So there's the fakeness where transhumanism, you merge with computers, but you are a biocomputer anyway, and you'll be able to do all this float and be bilocate and all this other. I mean, obviously, you have to figure it out. It's only a decision away, and you have to raise your vibration. That's the fun part. And so, if you know that Dolores Cannon, go ahead, Dawn. Sorry.
Already happening. That's what they know, that we're coming into these abilities.
Yes.
Which is why they're trying to tag us out, because they need to harvest that.
Yeah.
They, again, these beings have zilch creation abilities. All they know how to do is steal and pilfer and everything else. So if you were a fucking psychopath, how would you handle it? Something big is coming in right now, y'all.
They don't have the ability to deal with it. They're not going to win. It's not going to be what they think it is. That's why I've been saying about the whole book of Revelation thing. It's not what everyone thinks it is.
It's just a script of what's happened before, honey. It's just this time it ain't going down that way.
Well, yeah, like it's the end of the world. Yeah, it's the end of their world, and they're freaking out. While humanity goes, you know what? Well, let's evolve. Remember Atlantis? Let's forget that we forgot and remember.
Yeah, this is a fucking rerun. That's why we all have all these deja vus our whole lives. Okay, we've done this before.
And we are also activating our DNA strings that were sleeping. And because we're activating our DNA strings that were sleeping and getting stronger by the moment, we are influencing as well as the stuff that's coming out of there. Because I want to talk about that some in private, because the stuff that's flying around over here, it's crazy. But because we are talking about being that 15-dimensional being and traveling with our plasma bodies, that's why they're attacking our plasma bodies. I'm just talking about my awareness that can travel and can feel in different kinds of space.
Yeah. And
that's getting really attacked, and that's just quantum physics. I'm just talking about quantum physics. They told us on the Dutch news for children news, they were talking about putting chips in their heads, that it would be cool if you can count like Einstein. What the fuck? On the news, children news, Netherlands went whoop-day.
Yeah.
This is not okay. We have a program, it was called The Future is Fantastic. They're telling us to freeze our heads. You're doing that over there in America, freezing your heads. They were showing old people freezing their heads.
Yeah. Yeah.
That happens to me when I eat ice cream sometimes.
No, that's a brain freeze, not freezing their heads. There's a slight difference there.
I know, I was just making a joke.
I mean, we've talked about on this show so many times. I remember Christy saying, like, because I was mentioning that my hair color's changing. Obviously, I'm graying because I'm aging out a little bit. And then Christy, if you remember, it's like, yeah, this used to be gray, but now it's red. Like, there's changes that whatever's happening, our consciousness is expanding. And we're kind of, if it's our body's a reflection of our consciousness, we're getting better. And so we seem to be in that transition, if that makes sense. So there's aches and pains. And
let me say something here, because it's profound. As an alchemist, you got to look at the belief systems that you've bought into. And that includes aging, and that includes dying, and all the crap they teach us. I say, just clear that slate. Like, I talk to myself and I talk to my body, and I'm like, okay, this, normally in eons past, your body would rejuvenate at a certain age. The lifespans were much longer. Mm-hmm. So I'm pulling back in experiences where my DNA has the freedom to do whatever it wants. And I'm telling you guys, it's all about just saying it and bringing it forward, because you're so powerful. All of these things that we have always thought is the way it is, it isn't. It never was.
Yeah.
So all of these concepts, kick them out of the center of your head, say boom, goodbye, and start building your own game with your own DNA, with your own energy, because this place has to do and react to you the way you set it up. You are the owner of your ship.
Yeah.
You are the one, you're the game player. So it's all about that.
You are the center of your universe, and I'm the center of my universe. And through the joy of creation, we can intermingle, which is freaky. Because, like, you know, you think, oh, you're the center of the universe. Well, yeah, so you are. Like, I love having fun with Christians. You are God. That's blasphemous. No, it's not. Like, I'm God. So are you. So is this microphone. So is this desk.
I mean, isn't it funny? As a kid, we all thought like we are the middle point of the universe, right? We are the center of the universe. As a kid, well mentioned. But somehow at some point we are losing this idea. But I mean, the older you get, I mean, the more you think about it, in some sense, it's kind of a beautiful and true belief, right? Like, you are the center of the universe. You are too. I'm too. And we are all coming together, right? With all our universes in this universe and building something new, right?
Yeah.
Something better.
Yeah.
And don't let that take away from you. Don't let them take it away.
Well, you know what? They start taking that away when you're a small child. Do you remember whenever you're a kid and adults would say to you, the universe doesn't revolve around you?
Yeah, don't be
so
silly.
They program that into us, but it really does.
Anna, that is so big. God.
Yeah, I mean, they tell us that from a young age, but the universe does revolve around you. Everybody's universe revolves around them. But they start programming that out of us when we are so small.
Yeah.
Yep. For control element, and it's it diminishes the imagination, where, you know, a lot of people get in touch with their inner child, mainly because there's the trauma of having the childhood being crushed. However, whatever version it is, it's not really like a pissing contest. Well, I had this happen to me, and I had that. It's like, you know, whatever experiences you're going through now, mainly there's a reason because of bigger spiritual stuff. Because reincarnate, you know, I jokingly say, okay, first step into spirituality, there's no such thing as death. Come back in 6 months once you figured that out, once you've actually processed that properly. Because it's not like, oh yeah, fair enough. No, you actually have to think about it for 6 months and go, wait a minute. And you have to go through every aspect of your life. Well, if I never die, it's like changing a t-shirt. Obviously, it's you wear a t-shirt for 80
to Christians, they're like, well, that's just demons who have taken over other people before. And I'm like, no, that can't be it, because, you know, like, what good is it learning just coming and doing something once and just going, oh, okay, I don't, you know, have to do anything more else. I can just stay here, you know, like, man, you're gonna be so freaking bored. You're gonna be like, man, maybe I should go back down again and try a different, you know, life or something. Or maybe become an animal or a tree or something, you know. Just saying. Yeah.
You know, we all have to, like, get in touch with ourselves and see where, like, when we have a thought, how was that programmed into us? Yeah. Because, you know, they also program lack into us. That's programmed in. I mean, the universe has the capability, and we have the capability of having all we need, but we've been programmed to think that's not so. I remember when I was a small child, and, you know, my only reference of money was paper money. And, you know, my mother would say, money doesn't grow on trees. And I would think, well, the hell it doesn't, because, you know, money is paper, and paper is made out of trees.
Yep.
You know,
I've done that. Yeah. Also, going back to Bashar, because I'm going to write a small comedy cartoon sketch thing where humanity are the grand masters of a limitation, and the sketch is going to be at an award ceremony, and humanity won't accept that we're grandmasters of limitation. We're grandmasters of limitation. No, we're not. No, sorry. No, we can't take that.
Yeah, that's why religion gets you on your knees. You know,
Yeah.
they get you early because they need to start harvesting that out of you. I mean,
Well,
yeah.
also religion. I mean, you know, I was brought up Southern Baptist, went to church every Sunday until I decided not to anymore at a certain age. And you know that the Lord is my shepherd. I mean, they're telling you that you're sheep, you know, from the very beginning.
I would love Jesus to come back and go, you people got it all wrong. Like, I'm an example. I'm not like...
Yeah, but he did say, my people perish for lack of knowledge.
Allegedly.
Right. And it's like that. I saw a meme the other day that said, you know, the sheep spend their lives being scared of the wolf, and when in the end, it's the shepherd that eats them.
Yeah, that guy,
You know?
the dog and the farmer are working together. Shut up, Barry. You're ruining it for everybody.
Right.
But people people are aware of it, and you know that's why we're all here, because we can see, you know, the false reality that the media puts forward, and that's what it leans to what Earl's talking about, is their spell isn't holding anymore, especially when, like, in 3 days, like Justin Trudeau released a video saying the coronavirus is great and we can do a great reset, and the public response to it was like, well, that's conspiracy shit right there. And then a week later, oh no, I didn't say that. In 7 days, he went from spewing it and to actually complete denial. Even AOC, like watching Biden during the presidential debates, he couldn't go through a paragraph without flip-flopping on his stance.
Well, you know, Fauci actually said in the same interview, he said that people should wear 2 masks. And then he also said that masks don't work in the same fucking interview.
Yeah.
You know?
It's like, which one is it, pal? Like,
pick a lane, dude.
Right.
Yeah. It's.
Hold on. So get this. Y'all know I used to be in alchemy, and I spent years and years learning to meditate and just a lot. And I'm still part of these groups. And yet I'm seeing posts of a good little percentage of them went and got their vaccinations, y'all. You know, it's like an oxy fucking moron there. Like, I can't even make sense of that. So like, again, you see that they're intermixed in everything.
My mother-in-law actually had coronavirus a few weeks ago. She said it was like the flu, but she has an appointment to go get the fucking vaccine, and she will not listen to me or her son. And we're like, look, you've had it. You don't need the vaccine. And she goes, no, they say I need it to protect from this new strain. And I'm like, holy mother of God, she's 83 years old. They're going to fucking kill her, and there's not anything I can do about it.
Well, unfortunately, it's free will. That's
I know.
the crappy part of it. But the thing is, with especially that older group, they you know, from the 50s and 60s, they believed the lie. Not judging them, but it's like you were told that you work for 40 hours, you know, the dream, the American dream and the Australian dream and everything else like that. And you get to this point, the doctors say, and it's been ingrained, that the person wearing the white coat is a god. And so they use the element of fear of like, oh, there's a deadly virus if you're over 80 and you have a bad immune system, which is around, you know, 99% of you may still, there's a 99% survival rate. But they just pump it out, and they're constantly pumping it out. And so I think they've tapped into the fear aspect of it. I mean, you've got the lockdown and the grinding down everybody. I mean, we've talked about it where it's like, oh, I mean, I still, in the last 3 days, I've woken up. You know, yesterday, I woke up and then had a 2-hour nap because I woke up. I feel that drained. Like, it's not because of what's going on or whatever. It's just they're pushing it down.
Monty, you call that arguing for your limitations. These people are so They don't. They are in their own realm. And I will say that you guys have heard me bitch about my dad, me, dealing with him wanting to take that shot. But I've sent him so much info now, I've officially freaked him out. And he will not go in there for shit. Because I know how to get to my dad. He hates hospitals. He hates sickness, germs, the whole 9 yards. So over time, you can work him down. But, think about it. They don't even vaccinate old animals. Why would they do that to humans?
I told my mom if she would take the vaccine and she would get ill, that nobody's responsible, and I'm not going to take care of her. That's it's her free will. She can do whatever she wants, but I'm not going to take care of anybody who takes the vaccine.
Yeah, get this, girl. My friend walks in here 2 days ago, tells me that he wants me to be the person to take his cats if something happens to him and his wife, and then informs me he's going to get the vaccine next week. And I told him, if you do that and you die because of that vaccine, then you're out of luck. You better think about your animals.
Yeah.
I was pissed. I was pissed.
Yeah, like, understandable. I'm a comedian, so that's how I deal with things. A lot of people who have died will get onto the other, they drop body and go into the next level of reality. They're going to be very pissed. Like, fucking what? They were right. And so, yeah, the waiting room in 4D or 5D or whatever level it is, it's going to be very full of angry. And if they find the entities that are trying to rule the planet in that realm, they're fucked. That's the technical term. They'll like, if I actually die before I'm supposed to and drop body, I'm going off my tree and I'm going to start ripping the universe a new one. It's like, we've worked so hard to get to this point and I got taken out of the game too early. My game is just watching the other game actually, I'm about to leave the stands because the game, that's the other thing as well, with everything's happening on the world, it's kind of boring. It's so predictable and shit.
You know what was funny about when you say about the stands and that? It was funny watching, I watched the game and just watching some people in the stands, actual people in the stands, but yet there's cardboard cutout of other people in the stand. It's like, okay, that looks odd and weird.
Yeah, they had that here where to fill out, they were playing sports, but they have cutouts of people, and so it gives the illusion of a crowd because you have to have your sports, you're bred into your circuses, so you can occupy the populace.
Y'all realize though, this exactly matches up what we've talked about. So like, we talked about being born as what I call prime. You always knew something was wrong with this fucking place, right? Since you were young, you knew, but yet all the other beings that are not spirited beings that are among us, those are the ones that made us believe, well, yeah, we need to do this to get along, right? I mean, it has to be convincing.
Yeah.
It's kind of the same concept now. They're making us buy into this whole concept, and they put up the fake people and that movement again. Like, okay, I just see the bigger reflection here, and it's like in my spirit, I'm like, it's screaming, no, hell fucking no.
Yeah, there are people that like, I'm not one of those people that actually wait till the end of the sentence. I'm not being judgy. Yeah, there's the people who say, oh, I don't belong here. I don't feel I should be on the planet. Mainly because they probably agreed to something, came to the planet, and it's completely 100 times worse of what they thought it was. And like, I want to go home now. For me, this is home. I rather the shit to fuck off. I don't want to leave. It's like, no, that me and the planet are all right. It's just those greedy fucks in power, allegedly, that are ruining everything. So maybe if they go away, we can have fun. And I was talking to Andrew Bartzis and I asked him, what level of corruption? Apparently, if we actually had 10% less corruption on the planet, we'll do really well. Yeah.
I would say if we didn't have the thing with the children and eating and drama, I think we would all be more fine Basically, that's how I feel. Anyway, I'm gonna go.
All right, Earl, thank you for being here. We'll go for another 15 minutes because I'm awake. So we're here. What was I going to say? Yeah, like if we took the corruption out of the world, we could still have a joyous 3D life on the planet, and have beautiful art and freedom, and there wouldn't be this constant surviving.
Well, more of our abilities would come online.
Oh yeah,
it would be a natural thing for us. See, part of this is to keep that in check, except for on the ones they pluck out and put in the programs.
Yeah, the Japanese have a great saying: "Don't be that one nail that sticks out," because that's what the hammer will get you. And it's sort of like it happened to not so much now, I don't think, because the Team Dark are in fear mode and they're freaking out. But when someone would raise their frequency a little bit too much, they'll pop up on someone's radar and then sort of get attacked that way. However, I'll use us as an example. As a group, we've all grown slowly in our vibration, and we're too big of a target. The target's too big, and so we're left alone because they're dealing with their own. They're putting out spot fires for themselves because they're losing power because of where, I don't know, the planet is or the consciousness, and I think it's a perfect storm of humanity's waking up to this shitty cage that we've been in for a while.
I feel that lots of people came into with contracts, and with the contracts that we all have, if you put on your light, there will always be shadow dancers. We call it shadow dancers. I'm part of the Quilontic science part and the voyages, and there will be attacks, even if it's energetic or just by using the words. Lots of people are saying, I want to be free. I am already free. I am a free being. That's what I am. I renew myself on the healthiest way every single day. I make new connections in my brain on the healthiest way. I will understand what the universe is telling me better and better by the day. And if you do that, then people will start looking at you and saying, maybe you're getting, maybe you're getting psychotic or something. And I say, I can see stuff. I can really see stuff.
Yeah.
And I start explaining the lines, the probability lines that we are living in. We spoke about the time shifts, about the butterfly effect. Those are tools that if we collect together as the human beings and the spiritual beings that we are, we can make massive changes. Only the people that were working on that and were putting their energies in that, they are now part of the fear machine and saying, no, but they are putting out the fear.
Yeah, and it's the fear of I mean, I'm not afraid of death. The dying part I'm not happy about. It's the actual transition, but the death is, because as you were talking, I just had a joke pop into my head. Basically, I could leave at any moment. Like, I could just, drop body and then fuck off because, and certain people are doing that because it's so hard on the soul, or we've been doing it for 10,000 years. How many incarnations where it's like this game's getting boring and tiring, and so that's why I believe the rest of the galaxy is fascinating with humanity, of what we've gone through. And apparently we're like rock stars. And so once we win, whenever that is,
we are an ascension planet. We are very, very important for different kind of beings, because what I understand from my teachings is we were light beings. Other beings came over here to get grounded and get rid of the crap that they took with us. And now we're fucked and living here for millions of years. And it's time to go out or whatever and just say, Source, we're doing here our jobs and we're taking care of this planet and I will defend this planet. But if they will touch my body, I will go back to Source.
Yeah.
That's my contract.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got to be like oil and water with this stuff and stand in your truth. And the bottom line is we're here to affect the collective realm. And each one of us is so powerful. It's like one of us to like 777,000 or some shit, like in full knowing. It's incredible. So you just got to own that. I mean, it's imperative. It's like at this moment, everything that you've ever put into your walk is coming into fruition now.
Dawn, that reminds me of what Bruce Lee said. Be like water, man. Be like water.
Water flows and water crashes. Be like water. The thing is,
exactly.
Be like water, my friend. Be like water.
But see, the crashing is because of the spiritual rule that's in place in your game.
Mm.
It's done out of love for self versus fear of another. That's the difference.
Yeah, and I always joke about, like, you know, come to Earth, they said. It'll be fun, they said. Why do we come to Earth? Because it's fun. Yeah, fucking great. Yeah, having a ball. But I mean, in my lifetime, like in the last 10 years, I got to the point of like feeling negative. I'm tired of feeling negative. So I sort of made the choice of, like, if I get angry, it's like, oh, I'll just let that wash over me and let it go. Because I'm tired of being angry and depressed and sad and all that type of thing. And that's worked for me. It's different for everybody because we're all different, which makes us the same. But I'm tired of, you know, I'm tired of being tired as well. And so there's that just staying in the moment now where I'm just like, okay, realizing, just watching. That's basically where, you know, don't take a side and don't invest. And I'm very grateful for this show and talking to you, because I feel comfortable and you talk back and you agree or disagree and you're polite. So if I have other conversations that are like, what's wrong with you? I'm like, oh.
The thing is, though, it's like there's only two boxes to pick from: love of self or fear of other, what's around you. I mean, it's like in whatever box you pick, you get what comes with it, and you get to see everyone picking their boxes.
That's exactly what's happening, Dawn.
Yeah, I mean, and it's extraordinary, really.
And we're making that choice independently. We're not reacting to them. We are, in a way, because we see what's going on, but in that process, we're claiming more and more of our personal power. Each and every one of us in this room are doing that to the degree that you're doing it. You're claiming, whether you know it or not, I'm telling you in English, you are doing this. You're claiming your own personal power. Yeah. And that's a good thing. That's a change from former times, let me tell you.
And the other thing is, think about it. We are all born and they took our memories. We all see, I remember being young thinking, what the fuck is this place? I don't know if y'all did this, but I had a hard time. Bottom line is, if we all have woken up like this after what they fucking did to us, think about how badass we are.
Yeah. That's sort of a saving grace. Well, yeah, that's a great, if you're feeling negative and down, just remember, why is this all happening to me? Part of it is you're allowing it, but the other part is to realize of, like, they're that afraid of you because of how powerful you are. And so you can switch it around where, like, this happened to me because they don't like the power that I can have. You know, I could probably, you know, wipe the planet clean of all negativity if I find the right vibration and fall.
5 seconds.
Are we training ourselves to become so numb to what's going on out there that we have no choice but to go inside and create our own world because we're rejecting so much, but we've been afraid to do that because we've allowed everything from the exterior to affect us. So now we're so sick of it that we're numb to it. And that numbness actually frees us to move forward and create something new, because we've realized what's out there really isn't going to affect us unless we allow it.
Yes, and it's so, you can see how, like, from what you just said, the powers that be want everyone to stay in their reality that they've created, instead of, well, see how we're all different boxes, but we're all the same collective as well. So you have your own dream bubble, but you're allowed to actually go to meet someone else's dream bubble for the experience and see all that. But then if you've got, say, if we said that on The View, they would call us crazy because there's only this reality, which is fake.
Monty, I had a lady look at me and tell me I was selfish about, you know, the shot and all this shit. And I'm like, I looked at her and let me tell you something. I do not live in fear, and I'm not living in a bunch of fucking what ifs. And if you choose to live in that reality, you knock yourself out. I ain't doing it. And that is exactly what it is.
If the shot works, they got nothing to fear. If the shot don't work, then they got a lot to fear.
The bottom line is, I don't live my life like that. If I lived my life, I would be a fucking wreck. I would drive my car off the nearest cliff I could find. You know what I mean? Who wants to live like that?
Lots of people, apparently.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's the thing. Like the amount of drug addiction is because of the false reality, which is, you know, everything's fine, but then you walk outside and it's completely shit because they're lying to you. And certain people, they haven't found some people find Jesus, some people find the unfuckers room, but a lot of people just find drugs for that escapism, or video games, or any addiction basically is trying to find that sense of
fill in the hole.
Yeah.
It's a hole.
Yeah.
We all do it with different shit at different times in our lives. And bottom line is, it's because we have to find out who we freaking are.
Yes.
Once we do, it's a different deal.
Yeah. And it's kind of fun being here. Like, you know, as I said, I'm not one of those, I don't belong here, I should go home. I'm like, well, I understand this is my home, and I don't want to go. I won't go 5D. I want to do a lap of the planet after we win, however we win and when we win, because, you know, I want to see shit like the waterfalls in South America, South Africa, and visit everybody here, and, you know, all that type of shit. Do a victory lap of the planet.
Yeah. But what is funny is the 5-dimension people. Those are most fear-based people that I know, especially they're just talking and giving their empowerment away to Trump or whatever. And they say, no, we're going to be safe. You're going to clean up your shit. The planet is cleaning up. We have to clean up our shit. Everything that is happening is manifesting to me so I can clean up the shit that I've been throwing around for the 1,200 years that we are over here.
Yeah, it's an inside job. To quote 9/11, it's an inside job. It's you doing it all that, like 5D. It's not. It's only going to be a collective when humanity goes into 5D, because everyone's done it individually.
And everybody's forgetting that where we go one, we go all. So I'm just looking at. So we're saying where we go one, we go all. If we go one, we go all, then everybody has to look at their own bullshit that's going inside.
And it could take 200 years in linear time. I had a thought. What was it?
I see a splitting point at this. I mean, this is the crunch time for us all. We know that the time is not normal. We've been experiencing all of this shit. I mean, every way to Sunday, we're being told, you guys.
Yeah.
So, you know, it would make sense that we would get ejected out of this fucking place. We don't line up with it. It just seems to me that it's being set in on purpose so that you have to choose.
Yeah.
There's no more sitting on the fence anymore. And I, for one, am, as much as it sucks, you know, none of us ever have big movement unless we're under a little bit of stress. Okay. Y'all know this. It's when it comes out, it's like we're forced because we don't want to do. Nobody chooses that. But when we're in it, all of a sudden we're like, you know what I mean? And it'll come in a moment. Jabam.
It's like changing television stations or radio. You go from 7 to 8. That frequency, if you're an 8, you can't be on 7 because you're a different frequency, and so you move forward. I have a great joke of the first thing that happens when you get to 5D is you're handed a 6D bus pass. And you spend 1,000 a year going, what the fuck is this? And it's just me taking the piss. But I also made the connection of 5D is not the end. It's the start. Because you can go up to 13D or whatever, source is just, it's like, religions say, oh, you die and you meet God. So like, no, so much in between. So 5D is actually a beginning point, not an end point. I mean, the physicality is different, but yeah.
What about Rose's material? If you look at what Yellow Rose talks about, she says this place is splitting east to west.
Yeah.
She's been thinking of it for a while. And then Dolores Cannon. I mean, but innately, we all feel that, don't you?
Oh, yeah. Just frequency of thoughts. And that's where, like, going back.
Yeah, but you're in the reality, but not of the reality. Now you know what that fucking means.
Yes. Bashara said, with that separation, there's now actually glass between the separation. So from the higher perspective, you can see the lower perspective, but you can't really engage with it that much unless you choose to, because there's a barrier now between because of the splitting. So, well, we're at the end.
Our new phrase: be in the realm, but not of the realm.
Yeah, and it's fun. Once you figured that out, it's also fun. Remember that. It is fun. I know most of you are looking at it going, but it is fun. So we'll wrap it up there. And I'm glad I could be. I came off the bench and I played well, and hopefully Coach will let me do it again sometime soon. So I don't know. I don't know when are we going. We'll be next week. But I don't know when, because I just call, take over because Danny couldn't get in. So hopefully their internet gets better. So yeah. So say hello to Danny, everyone, because she's going to be watching. See, bye. We didn't burn the house down. Everything's fine. So that's the UnFuckIts for this week. And I'm sure it's going to be a very interesting week because you've got Valentine's Day and the Trump impeachment, if that floats your boat. And just remember you're awesome and have fun. And yeah, I like what Bashar says. Life is meaningless until you give it meaning. And so that's the part of like, as Christy just said, being numb. You don't have to ignore things, but you just, you don't have to give it any meaning. It's like, oh, they're invading Afghanistan again. All right. I'm going to go buy some bananas.
So what did we do when we were a kid when we got that way? We would go into our imagination, wouldn't we?
Yeah. Find your passion. That's basically it. So, all right. I think I just pressed the red button. So, see you all next week, everyone. Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Next week.
Is it the right one? Not too sharp, I got anything left. Look for it at the right time, but it doesn't seem to come. Or do I get distracted?